Hi, welcome back to the channel, TrainStation 2. Alright, finally I claimed the last legendary train, the EMD FT A plus B. And I'm going to show you how I prepared for the coming mini event. We call it the Delivery Challenge. Alright, so lots of things to be done. I mean, that's a good news there from the previous mini event, which we managed to get first. Hoping that we may be able to do so again in this coming mini event, Delivery Challenge. So how do we actually prepare for it? It's all the same. So apparently how you're going to do it is, of course, increase your fleet size as possible, increase the capacity of the trains so that you can make delivery faster. In this delivery challenge, probably it'll be different from the last one we did. We should try to minimize the delivery quantities so as to maximize the number of deliveries can be made. Alright, so for this delivery challenge, I'm going to show you basically the same thing, whereby you're going to prepare all the items for your core factories. Basically, the event hasn't started. There won't be events until probably 2 days later, whereby there will be a great big event coming about. Have you chosen on the company? Probably when it comes, I'll share a bit more on which company we should be choosing. Alright, now back to this preparation work, and I'm going to share with you later on the amazing legendary train that which I claimed from this Canada, and that completes my whole collection of the fleet in this Canada itself, Region 5. But for now, I'm just going to collect all the items that I could, and then I'm going to pack my factories to the brim in order to prepare for it. But for now, I'm going to celebrate right now just to show you this. Take a look. Alright, with this, as I mentioned, you complete the whole collection in Region 5 itself. I'm going to show you all the trains I have in Region 5 very shortly. But now, let's take a look at this amazing train. Alright, so again, it's basically a legendary train with a maximum capacity of 60, given that it is a region train rather than an event train. Alright, these are the trains I have currently in Region 5 itself. You can see a couple of legendary trains and some familiar trains you can see from a previous Japanese event. So this EMD is highlighted as new, starting capacity of 20, diesel, and then powered to the maximum capacity of 60. And of course, along the way, I've been accumulating a lot of trains, trying to have a bigger size fleet. It's really important that you should have a good size in terms of those fleet size. Even though this duplicate is perfect, because at the end of the day, there may be triple restrictions. So what do we mean by triple restrictions is basically first they ask for the region type, basically the region 5 for example, and then the type of trains. They may say that, oh, I only want epic trains, and they may go even further with the third restrictions, which is that I want the engine type to be diesel, for example. So this is the part whereby you will have a problem if you has been dismantling all your trains. So try not to dismantle any rare trains and above. If you're dismantling common trains, make sure you have at least 6 or 7, depends on your dispatcher. For me, I need at least 8. Okay, so for the train that I just claimed, this is a new profile that I can actually claim. I could actually change to this profile, but of course my preferred profile is still Mr. Center there. So that is my good luck charm there. So I'm not going to change that profile, although I have a new profile. Right? So with that, let's come back to reality. We have to go prepare. Since we just finished that mini event, we're going to prepare for the next one before the big event comes about. Alright, so I'm going to do some research later on after this video to see which company will be good, and probably in the next video they'll be sharing with you which company I intend to embark into, and probably if you could join me as well to join that company. Alright, so that part I'll do it probably in the next video. For now, I'll be concentrating in trying to do what I always do best, which is to prepare for competitions, even though it is a mini event itself. And hopefully, yes, we all know good friend Mosky, hopefully not in the same competition again, but if we are still band together, I think we are just fated. Alright, so this developer just wanted to band some of us together, there's no choice. So this is something I think probably I'll start maybe a little bit earlier or later and trying to avoid the timing. But if we are still together, I think there's no choice. Alright, so now back to preparation work. You can see I've been collecting a lot of this materials there because all my factories are all cleared up from the previous event itself. So the previous mini events, we're trying to clear a lot of items because every single items cleared from the factory as per request, there will be a star allocated. So that was the previous event itself. So from there, in order to make space, I've been dumping a lot of things from my warehouse, my tiny little warehouse of 3,700 capacity. That is really insufficient. It's grossly undersized in terms of warehouse. So this is something that's always a headache that's causing me. So I do wish that if you could listen to me, if you are in region 1 and 2, you are really in luck because you should be starting to build your population size and then increase your warehouse. And eventually when you reach probably my level of 266 and maybe in region 5, you have probably 5 times the warehouse size of mine, and of course population likewise. So that will do you a great favor when you fight for competitions neck to neck with someone that's really strong. So this is something you gotta bear in mind, okay? Because otherwise you're gonna suffer the same fate that I am, always struggling with warehouse spaces and you can't prepare much. And in order to prepare for events, competitions, what I normally do is I'll make use of the 6 factories input and output tray that I think many people have understood that. If you are just new to my video, let me just quickly share with you again. So you all understand there's an output tray whereby you have the manufactured products waiting to be collected. So that's one way to actually boost that little warehouse of mine, because all the manufactured products I can actually store in my 6 core factories. And once I've already have all the completed items laid out in the output tray, my production will store, and with that there will be one that is in production, and the rest of it in the input tray, there will be no more that you can actually run the production. So for those, I'm actually storing raw materials. So if you read me well, what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if I want to store some nails and I want to store some timber, instead of storing nails and storing timber in 2 separate factories, where I will store both of the items in one slot, I will store it in the furniture factory itself. Because making a chair, you need nails and timber, but you only need one slot, and you can store 2 types of materials, raw materials, in that factory input tray. Because once production is stopped, nothing can go, and once you need the timber or you need nails, you can actually convert them back by cancelling that job. So that's what I always do. So likewise, a lot of things, for example, timber, not timber actually, is the wood blocks plus probably fuel. You get glue. So glue, once you cancel the glue order, you will get back your lock and you get back basically your fuel as well. So that's how it works out. Alright, so you can actually pick and choose what you want. I mean, if you are one that actually wanted even more, I think some items do require 3 raw materials, like for example sofa. Right, sofa will require 3 raw materials. Again, once you store a sofa in the input tray, and provided you store the production, okay, you can convert it back to 3 raw materials. So that's how I always do it, and eventually that saved me warehouse spaces and also allow me to quickly get those raw materials and to make that deliveries and whatnot. Okay, so that's how I manage warehouse space of mine, which is really tiny, as I mentioned. And of course, as I've been continuous building my population, I only started, I think, building my population in late region 3, almost jumping over to region 4. I only have a very tiny population of 2,000. I've not been doing any population increase since region 1, 2 and early part of 3. So in the late part of region 3, I only have 2,000 population. Can you imagine? That is really tiny. And my warehouse, of course, is a consequences suffered from a small population, tiny warehouse. So with that 5 building technique, which I'm going to share with you very quickly, basically is increase my population from 2,000 to now 8,000 over. I'm really targeting that 10,000 as a first milestone. So 5 building techniques, if you are new to the video, just very quickly again, 1 special building in the center surrounded by 4 common buildings, like for example school, parks and whatnot. And then subsequently you have 4 of those requests for you to do upgrades of a building, and then with that you increase your population, and in turn with sufficient population you increase your warehouse space. So in short, that's how you do your 5 building technique. Some people may ask, why not 4 buildings, why not 3 buildings? Yes, of course, even you lay out 4 buildings, it does work, but just that once you cancel, so 5 buildings, right, when you have 4 jobs, You cancel one, there will be one more that's generated at the next slot. So that's why you need 5 buildings, alright? So that's how it works out. So beside preparing the factories with input and output tray all filled, preparing for population increase, for warehouse increase, you got to basically also try to clear away items in the warehouse that is unnecessary. So what are these items like? These items will be those that's really small in quantities, which is basically useless, which you can't use it for production at all. So this is something that's what we call it the housekeeping of the warehouse. Okay, so this is something you've got to bear in mind. As you can see, warehouse is 3,700. It's already a tiny space. I don't know about yours. Probably you can drop me a comment like to show me how big your warehouse is. Okay, so with that, now I'm trying my best, as I said, increase population, and we are trying to basically fulfill all the items. And once I've tried to click on that tick, and once we complete that green tick, it will take time to generate that population, and upon completion, of course, they'll add on to the population. So basically that's how it worked out. And do save keys. I mean, I've been spending a lot of keys in that mini event which just ended. Of course, that's because I've been fighting with a buddy there for the first position that I've been using all the 1,000 plus keys that have been saved up. Normally, I think when people will start saving is when they cross the midpoints. Like for example, my next milestone is 300 before I cross over to region 6. Start saving when you are about 250. So that's normally the cutoff, like when you should be saving. Alright, so that's how you work out. For me, I'm going to save all over again. Target minimally bring across 3,000 meta keys. If you can bring them across, assuming 10,000 meta keys, probably at a head start itself, when you cross over, you already have all the fleet, or basically the full fleet of region 6. Okay, so for me, I'm just targeting at 3,000. If I bring across 3,000, how do I open that container? I'm going to open 100 keys container. That will be 2,000, and the balance of 1,000, I'll use it for 5 times of that 200 keys container, because of course that chances of getting a better train from that 200 is better, but generally I'll still find the probability of getting common trains are equally high. Henceforth, spending those on the 100 keys, sometimes, who knows, you may even get legendary or epic from, or even rare from the 100. Alright, with that, you do remember, do your ship trade. Alright, so I'm coming towards the end of this video. I wish you good luck. I'm not going to lock in until probably tomorrow. Alright, thank you for watching. Goodbye.